Hi Aries, this is your forecast for the month of July 2017. This is a general reading for Aries Sun, Aries Rising, or Aries Moon. If you have a different rising or moon sign, you might find watching those videos helpful or more informative for you. You can watch your reading in 3 different ways: the full extended monthly, or for just the energy influence, watch the brief. Or in addition to the brief, watch the weekly for the upcoming week. Weeklies also make it easy for you to review information you may have forgotten in the full reading. Please remember that these are general readings, and so they may not apply to everyone. If you would like a reading that is specific to you, please visit my website at thealchemistastrologer.com, and I invite you to follow me on Facebook, Google+, and Instagram. Please also check out my pay-per-view channel, vimeo.com/on-demand/finding-love for monthly love readings. So Aries, this is a week where you're going to focus on being self-sufficient, being self-reliant, and the pleasure of your own company in some instances. There's a strong focus on the financial. And so you could be looking at trying to gain your financial and personal independence. Maybe you're looking at financial security in some way, what your self-worth is, whether you are being fruitful. So some of you are focused on business, your self-employment, or perhaps some property or real estate matters. Some of you are looking at investment income, things that come to you, maybe passive streams of income. But the focus is on ownership and mastering your resources as well as self-control. Now, for some of you, there's a focus again on having enough money, having an abundance, and having the time, the energy, the resources, and the inclination to relax a little bit, to enjoy the fruits of your efforts. So some of you may be in retreat mode. Maybe you're connecting with the land, the earth. Maybe you're gardening. Maybe you're connecting with nature. There's a love of outdoors and a concern for the environment for some of you. So this is about leisure time, perhaps so much so that maybe there are retirement issues that you're focused on. But this is about physical well-being and, again, pleasurable pursuits in solitary situations. So if you have been putting forth effort, if you've been working hard, this could be a week where the fruit of that is coming to pass for you. You are meeting your success by persevering, by putting in the hard work. And this could be a week where, again, it's bearing fruit. You're getting some type of reward, some kind of recognition. Maybe you're moving up on the ladder, or maybe you're just getting some thanks and recognition from others. This could be a week where family or business connections are fortunate for you in some way. And again, there's a focus on land, the earth. Maybe you're purchasing some real estate, or maybe you're even inheriting some type of property. So for some of you, again, this is all about prosperity in some way and attaining that, mastering it, refining it. For others of you, this is a focus perhaps on a wife or a mistress or someone that's being taken care of. And for others of you, there is a connection to somebody that is somewhat inaccessible to you. And this is a person that you consider to be graceful, to have some measure of beauty, skill, talent, or good sound business sense, that may be offering you some type of advice, or maybe you feel a connection to this person. Maybe you even have an admiration or perhaps a secret crush on this person, or vice versa. Now, for some of you, you're having to focus on issues of ownership because perhaps there's some type of guilty conscience about things that have occurred in the past. Maybe there's been some dishonesty, or maybe somebody has been recklessly managing resources, and so you're dealing with financial instability or the consequences of some poor choices that have been made. Maybe there's some issues or problems connected to property or real estate, and you're having to deal with some unexpected repairs perhaps, or some kind of financial setbacks. There's a burden of some sort in connection to your wealth, or perhaps even issues where there have been some type of gains that have been ill-founded or through deceit or swindling. And as a result of that, you may find yourself in situations where there is some unkind accusations or some gossips or some things being said that maybe you don't really want to face, because maybe they're unfair or they're not, they're unkind in some way. And your first instinct may be to retaliate against that. But it's likely that this is something that you should just let ride over you, because inevitably it's going to come back to bite you in some way. This is a week, if you have a lot of free time or free money or money to burn, you may want to think twice about the type of people, the type of pursuits, the type of entertainment that you're getting involved with, because you may actually be attracting more trouble or more heartache or negative situations than it's even worth. Especially, again, if there have been some issues in the past where you're feeling some type of loss or emotional disappointment. So for some of you, there's a focus on security because, you need to protect yourself against some type of loss or material damage or even threat to your reputation. There could be a false sense of security, especially if you are depending on other people to come through for you. This is a week about self-reliance and personal achievement. Some of you, if you're expecting too much from other people, if you're asking too much, you're dependent too much, or vice versa, if you're letting them demand too much of you, this fantasy world that you're living in may soon come crashing down to a reality, the truth of a situation. So again, you could have people accusing you or making some accusations that you have to focus. And maybe you have played a hand in a situation given, the way you've operated business or your dealings or negotiations with others. So you may be stuck in a particular way of thinking that has been holding you back. In the positive, again, this is about personal achievement and getting the recognition and reward for your efforts. So there's a focus on manifesting something this week, using your own personal power to create, focusing your will to manifest something. Now, the second week you have the World card, and this is a major card, so this is an important week for you. So you are wrapping something up. Some of you are focused on traveling. And again, we get back to last week, having the money and the time and the inclination to relax, to, sort of take advantage of whatever it is that you've worked for. So you may be deciding to travel, or maybe you have some property that's at a distance, or maybe you are dealing with business that is at a distance in some way. Maybe you're dealing with people on the internet. Some of you, maybe you're dealing with foreigners, or you're dealing with people of a vastly different background. Whatever it is, you're wrapping something up. And something is coming to some type of conclusion. Now, hopefully there's a sense of triumph in this. You're getting whatever your goal was, you've reached it, you've gotten some kind of prize or recognition. If there was a focus on health, maybe you are dealing with your physical and emotional health. But this is a week about doing something and having it bear the fruit, feeling as if you've done a job well done. You're getting the best out of a situation. And so you may be looking to expand your horizons in some way. Perhaps you're looking at business interests and how to expand that, or your finances. Maybe you're trying to create the ideal environmental conditions for a situation. And so you are receptive this week to any opportunities that are coming to you. And it's going to be very important that you listen to your intuition in order to manifest those and possibly move in a new direction. So this is a week about starting something over. You're getting a second crack at something, and it's important to make that count. So this is a week to really attack life constructively. Get rid of bad habits that have been holding you back. Really examine your relationships where people have been emotionally dependent upon you and it's not helping your situation. This is a good week for starting over, starting something new, whether that is a new job, a new outlook, a new attitude, again, a new focus on your health, or perhaps starting a new relationship. And this is also about knowing when you're going too far with something. Something is coming full circle for you. You've completed a cycle and now you're starting something new. And part of that may have to do with forgiveness, especially, again, if last week you were dealing with some gossip or some rumors or some accusations or some feeling of guilt on your part for mismanaging something, or perhaps someone else, maybe someone has mismanaged some resources of yours and you're having to forgive that person. But for you, it's going to be very important to deal with any issues of forgiveness in order to create that fresh slate for yourself. So this is a week of being enthusiastic, but knowing what your limitations are. Last week, there could have been issues where you were overly demanding or someone else was. And so this is about knowing when to say no, knowing what is beyond your ability, and knowing when to limit your involvement in a situation. If your head is in the right place as well as your heart, then it's going to be very easy for you to take on something new. And if you've made a decision to move in a different direction, in a new path, then you're going to have a lot of emotional resolve to uphold these decisions, your new resolutions. And as a result of that, you're going to feel enthusiastic about life and where you are. And because you are moving in a new and positive path, anybody that's been a challenge to you, opponents, competitors, difficult personalities, you're going to be able to bring conflicting situations to some type of resolution, and you're going to be able to do that diplomatically and peacefully. And because of that, your world is going to open up and you're going to attract opportunity to yourself. This is a week where you can do big things. The world may very well be your oyster. And so if you've had issues, medical, legal, business, whatever, this could be a week where you literally move mountains and make some great strides. Now, for some of you, if you're not moving forward, maybe you are stuck in a rut, and maybe voluntarily so. Maybe you're not finishing what you start. You're just talking a good game, or someone else is. And so this is about unfinished business, and as a result, delayed success, or the failure to complete something that's going to end up in frustration or obstacles or a lot of loose ends, and a fear of change and a lack of commitment. This could be where you're not willing to face the future and there's a resistance to change. Somebody may not be applying the necessary effort to get a satisfactory outcome. Now, for some of you, maybe, your travel is being postponed for some reason. But again, if your motivation is not where it should be in order to move forward, you could be running after some type of an illusion. And so maybe you want to push in a better direction. Maybe you want to make a fresh start, but for some reason, again, you're stuck in a rut. You're falling back on old habits. And even though you start something new, because your heart is not in it, or you don't fully comprehend why you're doing something, you haven't grasped the lesson of why it's necessary to move in another direction, in spite of what you are envisioning, it's not going to come to pass, regardless of how much effort you're putting in. So, again, this is a week to beware of overextending yourself in some way, giving in too much to the demands of others, or overstepping your emotional boundaries, pushing the button for other people and their emotional boundaries, making assumptions or presumptions where you infringe on the rights and boundaries of others. In fact, if you are managing your relationships that way, if you're cutting corners or if you're getting out of your lane, you're going to make people feel uncomfortable and uneasy. So this is a week about being realistic. Again, self-reliance, self-focus, self-sufficiency, and knowing what your limitations are, knowing how far to push, and being realistic in your goals. Now, the third week, you have this Page of Cups. This is water energy. So this could be a Pisces, it could be Scorpio or Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female. You may have a connection to a young person this week. But this is going to be a week of emotional matters and situations, or some type of emotional news that you receive. You could have an interest yourself in learning about emotional issues, or maybe somebody is, the catalyst of some kind of emotional change. It could be that you are focused on offering your services to the world or expanding your services in some way, particularly those of you who are self-employed. Maybe this is the service industry. You could come in connection with somebody who is helping or comforting you, or maybe you are doing that for someone, but somebody is extending some type of offer. Now, for some of you, because this is a week you're going to be especially emotional or sensitive, you could have interactions where you are picking up on the cues in your interaction with another, the undercurrents of what other people are saying, what they are doing, as well as what they are not saying or doing, and what the meaning is behind that. Maybe you're questioning where your relationship or your connections are headed this week. And it could be that you've made some decisions that now you're having to rethink, because you made those commitments without fully thinking about what the consequences were. Now, remember last week, this was about knowing when to say no, what your limitations were, how far to extend yourself. And so you may have jumped in and made a commitment, and now you're thinking, that wasn't the best decision. This is going to be a week where social invitations may be important. News of others, whether that's engagements, marriages, pregnancies, births, just social interaction with other people. Now, if this is in the negative, then this is somebody who is, there's a lack of emotional chemistry. Something is off. Maybe somebody is insensitive, or maybe somebody's being too easily influenced. For some of you, this is going to be a week where you're dealing with people who are easily influenced, whether that's through drugs or alcohol, or they just have trouble thinking. And so this is going to be a week where you are looking at things in a more practical manner, with more honesty, without, you're pulling off those rose-colored glasses in some way, and something that you thought was meant to be, you may be rethinking it and looking at it in more practical terms. Whatever it is, this is going to be a week where there's a change in direction, for better or worse. So some long-standing issue or circumstance that's been running in a particular path is now going to move in another direction. This could be a week where, you're having contact with a friend, you come up with perhaps a good idea, maybe you're working on a new project. Whatever it is, it's going to be about emotional matters, social invitations, or perhaps again, a focus on putting your services out there. Now, you may be dealing with issues where there's some type of heartache or jealousy or selfishness, or somebody's being excessive in some way. There could be issues where somebody has the propensity to behave in a certain way that is actually threatening in a self-destructive manner. Whatever it is, you're going to be very aware of your feelings this week, and you're going to feel as if how you connect to another person is changing. Your feelings will be changing toward another person. Now, in the positive, something may deepen for you. It may move to the next level. And maybe you're rediscovering some positive aspects of someone you're connected to, and you feel better about that person. You feel more strongly toward them. For others of you, again, maybe you're wanting to enjoy yourself, get out there in the world, meet other people, be social. But for some of you, this is going to be about, that connection is wearing thin, and you may want to cut ties. This is likely to tie in some way to your past, either some memories you have, or someone from your past, some past influences, and perhaps for some of you, a difficulty in moving on from the past. Now, the last week, there is a heightened sense of emotion. You may be thinking of family, maybe friends, loved ones. There could be a feeling of fulfillment. You feel good about your personal relationships. You're getting along with your children. You feel a sense of prosperity. You have good friendships and network. So there's a sense of serenity. There may be cause for celebration in some way. You're realizing some goal, or there's a sense of shared well-being and trust between you and others. So this could be a week of celebration. Again, maybe you have reaped the rewards of your efforts. You have enough to share. You're focused on traveling. You're extending some offers. Offers are being extended to you. You're connecting to family. There's a sense of feeling good. There's some good news. Maybe some doorways opening up for you. And so this could be a great week for you. In the negative, though, you, again, may have been dealing with some very sensitive and emotional issues that relate to some problems within the family or a relationship. If last week you were looking at the lesser points of a person, you may realize that you're no longer compatible. There could be some family disagreements going on, maybe some rebellion, or maybe something unsettling to your routine because of some social engagements. Maybe your children are being especially demanding, or maybe you're having to cope with some delinquent behavior on their part. It could be that some celebrations have had to be delayed or put off because of some situations. So you may be dealing with, troubles in the home, or issues in your relationships, or as a parent. Whatever it is, there is in some cases, a heightened longing to be with others because of the nostalgia of past conditions or relationships. You may be feeling, especially loving toward people. You want to be together. And so because of that, you may be willing to compromise because there's some big things at stake. But we go back to the first week about not allowing others to make too many demands of us and knowing what our limitations are. For some of you, if there were issues, you may be putting the initiative into healing something where people have been hurt or disappointed or feeling betrayed. But this is like, this is a week of getting together with others. Now, if you're dealing with especially complicated situations, you may feel that it's almost insurmountable, somewhat hopeless. You may feel that the very people that you love and care for are not giving you the support or the respect or honor that you are due. In fact, you may feel as if those people are working against you, that you're not on the same page, that you don't have the same goals. And this could be a week where there are some rude awakenings for people. And it could be particularly because you've gone out of your way, because you need that validation. You're trying to feel validated by being needed. And you end up in a situation where you're actually harming yourself. Also, if you're being self-indulgent, you may be giving into some type of temptation that is working against you. So this is a week where, again, those strong emotions are either pulling you toward others in healthy ways, and you're sharing good times and good feelings, or that need to be with others is working against you. Now, the underlying energy is this Nine of Swords. So there's a sense of anxiety and worry. Maybe you're worried about your business. Maybe you're worried about being alone. Maybe you're worried about a child. Maybe you're worried about problems in the family. And so whatever it is possibly keeping you up at night. You're going round and round over a situation. For some of you, this is focused on health. There could be health issues to deal with. Maybe you're worried about a female who is suffering in some way. For some of you, maybe there's the possibility of death, given whatever a circumstance is. So there's a focus on endings. Now, in the positive, if all of these interactions with family and social invitations and being happy has worked out for you, it's positive energy, then perhaps there's something negative that's coming to a close and you feel a sense of hope, faith that the suffering is about to end, that you're on the verge of a new horizon and that there's nothing to worry about. But for others of you, you are going over old ground. There's some issues that have not been settled, and perhaps you're in a bit of a spiritual struggle, and it's exhausting for you. It could be somebody, again, who is ill. Somebody may be facing surgery. Somebody may be grieving. There could be issues. Again, if you were dealing with rebellion or being over demanding, maybe somebody's being a bully or somebody's being abusive. And it's possible that, even though somebody has expressed remorse, there's still the possibility that they may abuse again in some way, whatever that may mean. So there is a situation happening for you this month where you know how you want things to play out. You've pictured it in your head. You want people to behave a certain way. You want something to unfold. You want a circumstance to be what you want it to be. And because you're so attached to that something or that someone, it's a challenge for you. You're not able to face the facts or the reality of what it is. And so you're letting it wear on you physically. And you need to step back in order to recharge. So you may need that solitude. You may need that time alone. You may need that connection to nature. For others of you, the problem is this is undue pessimism. Something is not as bad as you think it is. The problem more likely is that you are not considering other possibilities. You're stuck on this one particular outcome and you can't let that go. And so for whatever reason, maybe, you feel it's going to cost your pride, or it's a matter of principle for you, or you're simply just stuck to a rut in your thinking, you're not allowing yourself to consider alternatives. Again, this may come down to trying to take on too much, trying to fight other people's battles, trying to push emotional boundaries and overextend yourself in some way, instead of allowing people to learn their own lessons, deal with their own situations. It could be that, again, there's a very strong focus on getting what you want or getting who you want, and you're going after it at all costs, regardless of the casualty, the price, the consequence. And that determined focus is becoming unhealthy for you. Now, some of you, this is just being anxious for something. Maybe you're anxious to get out there and socialize, or you want this romantic feeling that you have for another to bloom in some way, or maybe you want to make new friends, or you're very anxious about creating an opportunity for yourself. For some of you, there's an anxiety about putting yourself out there. You'd rather be alone, and there's a real need for you to get out into the community and break out of a shell that you've built around yourself. Now, whatever it is, this is going to be a month where the past is very important. The past is an influence strongly on the present, and your present options right now are a direct result of the previous choices you made. This is going to be an emotionally challenging month for you. And there are going to be some situations that trigger some small changes for you that create larger change, and some changes that have been overdue, some things that probably should have happened a long time ago. And it's going to connect to your partnerships. There's going to be some type of significant turning point in connection to your family, or realizing your goals, or your connections to others, where you are examining either how attached you are to a situation or a person, or how you are moving further away from that. There is a lack, though, of motivation. There's not a lot of action taking place, because, again, there's a lot of self-indulgence. It could be that you and another person are indulging one another, whether that's negative or positive. Maybe you're really putting forth a lot of effort through the week, you're working hard, and then when the weekend comes, you just really let loose, or you let go, or there are circumstances, there are certain areas in your life where you're very focused and self-reliant, and then there are other aspects of your life where maybe you are pushing a little bit too much. You're giving in to that temptation. You're going above and beyond. You're pushing the limitations. This is going to be a month where the outcome is very dependent on how willing you are to address some issues and tie up some loose ends, some things from the past that perhaps you have been unwilling to face up until this point. But if you are, there's the possibility to change your understanding, your perspective, your awareness. Something can open up for you that broadens you as an individual if you allow it to. This is also going to tie into you attempting to be recognized in some way, whether great or small, and your desire for some type of achievement or to meet an objective or a goal. And the manner in which you go about that will either determine whether you are successful or not. All right, Aries, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Let me know with your kind comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a great month, and I look forward to speaking with you next month.